Hello, everybody. My name is Heber Mena, speaker, coach, and trainer. And today I'm going to be talking about diversity, specifically about the challenges that minorities face in the workplace. So let us define the word. The Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary defines diversity as the condition of having or being composed of different elements. Variety, especially the inclusion of different type of people, such as people of different races or cultures in a group or organization. The old way of thinking used to tell us that diversity had to do with race and gender. However, nowadays, that way of thinking is totally obsolete. Richard Daft, in his book The Leadership Experience, he tells us that diversity now refers to all the ways in which people differ, including dimensions such as age, race, marital status, physical ability, income level, and lifestyle. In other words, nowadays, when we think about diversity, we need to think through the grid of thinking styles, language, ethnicity, religion, perspectives, experiences, nationality, job level, race, culture, skills, gender, physical abilities, sexual orientation, and age. And probably the list can continue going on and on and on. When talking about diversity, we found four challenges that minorities face in the workplace. Daft specifically point four of those, and they are ethnocentrism, prejudice, stereotype, and discrimination. Ethnocentrism is the evaluation of other cultures according to preconceptions originating in the standards and customs of one's own culture. In other words, my culture is better than yours. Prejudice is the preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. Those are judgments that we put in our minds of other people or about other people. Stereotype, a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of particular type of person or thinking. In other words, we can predict in our mind how people are going to behave and or are going to treat us. That is called a stereotype. And then we have discrimination, the unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people or things, especially on the grounds of race, age, or sex. These are the challenges that Daft tells us that minorities face in the workplace. So it's very important to know also that diversity and inclusion makes anything and everything look colorful. That go ahead and tells us that today best leaders realize that diversity sparks innovation, lead to better decision making, and spurs growth. Therefore, diversity and inclusion is a must in the workplace nowadays. So when we talk about some of the challenges that minorities face in the workplace, we can also talk about four elements that are key to embrace and create a healthy environment for diversity and inclusion, specifically for minorities. So one of those is broad-mindedness, acceptance, and understanding. Stephen Covey, in his book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, said, seek first to understand and then to be understood. That is an amazing statement that have been used and have been effective in every environment since he wrote his book. That has to do with broad-mindedness. In other words, the antidote to ethnocentrism in the workplace is broad-mindedness. Then the second element is open-mindedness. In other words, objectivity. That one basically is the antidote to be or to have prejudice. In other words, we have to have a mind that is open other races, to other ways of thinking, to other ways of doing things. Number three, now we have uniquity, distinctiveness. Andy Stanley came up with a really good question as it relates to having clarity and specifically in how to see ourselves unique. The question is, what makes me uniquely better? So instead of be just judging people or predicting how people are going to behave, we can ask the question, what makes them uniquely better? That's a great question. Thank you, Andy Stanley. Number four, impartiality or open-mindedness. That is the antidote to discrimination. So in other words, we have to have an open mind whenever we see people from other races, other cultures, and many other ways of thinking and ways that we need to think about how they're going to be adding value to our environment. So there you have it. We have four elements that are key to embrace and create a healthy environment for diversity and inclusion. Irving Strauss says, leaders who value people look beyond external differences of gender, ethnicity, and cultural heritage, valuing people as human beings created in the image of God. The prophet Moses said it this way, so God created humankind in his image. Dr. Hengerson shared a video that talked about diversity. Very, very good video. And on that video, he says, Christians really have the best response to this. Elaborating a little bit more on that, he says, Christians really have the best response to this, talking about diversity and inclusion, the best and most workable solution. Only Christianity will provide an opportunity for people to be respected for their strength and accepted within their differences. Now, the Apostle Paul put it in this way when he wrote a letter to the church in Galatia. He says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is no male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Yes, there are challenges that we face in the workplace. There are also great elements that can contribute to a healthy environment when we can foster and implement diversity and inclusion. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful